Good morning, everyone. Wednesday, Pashas Vayakil. So yesterday we discussed B'Shem Iyuf Odam Le'uma Yulad. Be'etzem, in truth, the Chinuch, the foundation for Chinuch, stands on two psukim from Iyuf. The first pasuk describes the first years of the child. It's the Pera Odam Ivulaid. When a child comes, the first years of child's being in this world is being called by Iyuf, defined by Iyuf, Pera Odam Avil, or he's wild. The second pasuk, which describes the entire life of the child and adults, us as well, is Odam Le'umal Yulad. A person came to this world for efforts, for work. We did not come here for comforts. Just Agav, the number one reason why people struggle from stress, because they don't have that understanding that we came here for amelus, to work. People tend to crave for comforts. Everything should be easy in this world, and easy. The parnusa should be easy, and the raising kids should be easy, and the life should be easy. However, it's not. This world, as Arizal defined as Olam Asiyah, the world of doing. We're doing. Amelus. Udom le'umal yulad. A person is created for labors, for work. Sometimes we can decrease the work by imun and betochen, but lamaisi is we're here for amelus. So the whole chinuch stays on these two psukim. Both psukim come from Iyuf, from the biggest Bali Surim, Shemerachem. And the first pasuk is Pera Odam Ivulad. The second pasuk is Odam Le'umal Yulad. But if parents are aware of these two psukim, if we live with these two psukim, if we establish our life by adopting the understanding in this psukim, the life becomes easier, especially in area of raising the kids. So, as we know, amelus, when a person is omal, he becomes very vulnerable. Amelus, it takes away the koiches of a person. It's a fact. And self-understood, a person feels that he's certainly powerless or helpless. So everybody has that time. He needs a lot of support. As we keep on discussing and talking for the last few days, he needs a lot of encouragement, a lot of idud, lo'idud. So and this pasuk also provides us with a very clear understanding where we have to focus on what we have to focus, where we have to zoom. We have to zoom the amelus. Amelus meaning the efforts. Everyone who producing anything, it's now we should zoom on the skills and abilities and the kishroinas that the person or child got. We should appreciate and encourage and support the efforts that the person put in his operation, because the efforts that belongs to the person. The kishroinas, the abilities, was given b'matona as a present, as a grant for the Rebbeinu Shloilo to a person, so he will be able to perform and do his efforts. But the ability is not something that requires appreciation. Of course, when we have to introduce our kids to their abilities. You have to make them aware of what they got, what kind of grant the Rebbeinu Shloilo gave them, wisdom, different powers, different potentials. We have to introduce the kids to their potentials. However, after they got introduced and they got to understand, they got to believe that they got this potentials, the powers, the abilities, the main focus where we have to dwell on is the efforts that being provided and produced by a child. So that's something we have to be aware of as a parent, that anytime the child producing something and producing good deeds, we have to zoom on and appreciate, support, acknowledge the efforts which were put into operation. Now we'll go a little further on this concept. Sometimes parents make a little mistake, but again, we should not feel guilty about it. We're just human. And again, as I said many times, that remember the shloisha shitfim ba'odam. there's three partners in the child: father, mother, and Ribono Shel Olam. Ribono Shel Olam takes a big partnership in the child's, in raising this child. So once we accept the Ribono Shel Olam's perceptions, Ribono Shel Olam's rules and regulations in the how to raise the children, Ribono Shel Olam will correct the previous mistakes the parent did in the past. So one of the things parents do, it's shvachim, meaning the praising the child. It's very important to know praising the child efforts is very important. Praising is part of idud. Chiluk of idud, how to idud, is to praise the child's efforts. However, some we have to know the limits, where to start, how to start, and where to end. Because number one, we have to be aware of that excessive praises, it might lead damages. Meaning to say, once you're excessively praising this child, we're just saying, it might, first of all, you might abuse your words, because any excessive expressions the first day it sounds very good, very pleasant, but then it just becomes vapes out. That just does not have any value. So excessive praises is something no need, and more than just no need, it might lead just your words will have no meanings at all. The parents should focus. We should be focused on, like I would say, like 4 components how to praise the kids. Number one, it's in the quantity and not the quality of wording. Meaning to say, I'll give some example. Number one is the quantity and not the quality of the wording. Number two is to state the facts rather than appreciations. Number three, of course, to praise the efforts, not ability. Number three. Number four, to zoom on the overcoming and coping rather than blessed talents. So here the child put the efforts, and let's say he woke up in the morning and he or she prepared their own the breakfast. They got dressed up, they washed Negavasser, and they prepared their own breakfast. So there was no need for father or mother to be on top of them. So of course we need to be moided the efforts of the child. So how we do that? So the parent should not focus on the quality of wordings, but rather the quantity. Meaning to say, so we have to think and be like more, use the, just wait a minute, step back for a minute and understand, consider all the effort the child put in from waking up in the morning till sitting by the table eating his bowl of cereal. So he woke up, he dressed, he brushed the teeth, he brushed the teeth, he went to the bathroom, he dressed, he dressed did not mess the room, he right away knew where his clothes are. Then he came and he said bruchas, and he prepared the cereal, bowl and milk, everything, and then he took the plate, then he took the milk out, and put the milk back in the refrigerator. You have to analyze the whole picture, and every effort. Let's say there's 10 efforts that we put in from waking up till eating by a table, with 10 efforts put in. Just zoom on those 10 efforts and give the idut. Meaning to when I say quantity, don't just focus on the end results of the child, but to take all the effort that was put in till he got there and give the encouragement, appreciation, acknowledgement to each effort on its own. Also, the number two is the facts rather than the appreciation. Now, appreciation is not such a good word, but let's just take out this word appreciation. State the facts. Meaning to say, don't try to excessively express more than it is. Just say the facts. Fact, he woke up in the morning. I acknowledge it like a big boy, like a big girl. I'm a mature boy, I'm a mature girl, and you want negavas and go on. Just state the facts. First facts. Then it's overcoming coping rather than talents. That means that, of course, to wake up in the morning, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not only hard for children, it's even hard for adults to wake up in the morning. Certainly when a child woke up on time, he, deeply speaking, he overcame his challenge of just laying in the bed another 5 or 10 minutes. So, but he was consistent with his routine. He or she was consistent with their routine, responsible. It's a lot of confirmation beneath the waking up in the morning. It means to say the child is certainly responsible. The child certainly cares about himself. He's consistent, and just waking up is a statement that child overcame his challenge, and it's something needs to be zoomed in. It's very hard to wake up in the morning. It's not easy. So when we are zoomed in on his efforts that he overcame the challenge, we actually providing him the power so next day he will do the same, right? So that's the basic very healthy way of praising the child, by following up with these 4 components. Again, number 1 is quantity, that's the quality. State the facts, to praise the efforts, not abilities, to praise the part of overcoming the challenge, overcoming that being in the bed rather than talents. And this we call healthy praise. A very healthy praise, which healthy praise, I mean to say that it will provide the child with a lot of strength to be consistent with his schedule, to follow up further on the next day, and to do the same based on this healthy praise that he got from his parents. And it's not only to focus on the end result. We tend to focus on the result. It's also self-understood, because people just delete that first part. They're not related to that big, all the steps which took till he got to the bowl of the cereal, right? So, but however, it's important to analyze and observe all the steps and praise every single step healthy. The main part of the Chinuch is to acknowledge the positive behavior of the child, and relate them and catch on them and praise them. Self-understood again, excessive praise won't bring positive results. It's too much. Too much of everything is not good. A little is not good. Too much is also not good. It has to be very, very fine balance of praising the child. And follow the 4 steps, Be'ezus Hashem, that's what we call healthy balance, and to praise the child. Also, parents tend to praise the child, and subconsciously they're praising themselves that Hashem gave them this kind of child. And it's as long we try to praise ourselves, let's go, and we're trying to convince ourselves by praising versus the children. But it's far more important to make the child understand, to make the child focus on the child, and make the child to accept and actually hear the praises, not you. Of course, it's a nachas for a parent to see his child be consistent and responsible, but the praises, does not the focus and the focus and the results of the praise has to be to give the child that powers to continue on. So we have to focus. We have to acknowledge and praise the positive behavior of the child, and make the child hear that. That means very, very. It sounds very simple, but it's not so. Because let's say, make sure that you praise the child at the time when the child is present. Present means to say is not busy, preparing for the cheder, putting his svurim in, or a girl preparing for her school, putting her notebooks and her books and the briefcases. When you praise child, when child is not present, a person usually can't be focused on 2 things at one time. So we tend to praise the kids when they're going out, when they're waiting for a bus. When a child waiting for a bus, he already tense and he already has that. He thinks about his schedule, his daily routine. His friends, her friends, his friends, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna talk about today, what they're gonna learn today. He's not present. So at that time, when a parent expressing a mother or father expressing they're praising the child at the time the child is not present and won't provide the positive results, because child does not hear what you're saying. Although he physically is around, he might shake with his head, but he is not perceiving, is not accepting, is not absorbing in the subconscious and conscious of the child. So it's very important. We have to have it in our mind of praising the child. It has to do with the child only, not with us. So therefore, if you want the praising operations to provide the child that powers and give the powers to continue to be consistent, vital in life, we have to catch on in time when child is present. He's calm. It's very good just to, after the child finish the eating, just pull him aside, pull him in the room, just tell him clear in the face, eye and eye contact, Shefele, and that's you. I'm very amazed that you're able to overcome your challenge. You woke up in the morning, if v'chule and so forth, as we discussed before. So you bring the consciousness to the child, and then the child absorbs the appreciation and the recognition, and he gets that boost to do the same next day. to burst into hymns and to cheer up an emotional lyricism. It does not bring the effect shoulder that the Metzius shows. It does not bring any kind of result, but just opposite. Also, it's very important to use the body language. Body language is one of the major languages that parents need to know about it and to be to understand it. It's a very broad concept of body language. But of course, when you're releasing your praising to a child, when you praise your child, your body language has to be comparable to your words. Meaning to say, when you are anxious, when a parent anxious, him or herself, don't try to praise, because it's just the body language does not match your words. So it comes with very mixed messages. So child start the question subconsciously. So are you upset with me? Are you appreciating me? Are some performing maybe? So it becomes very mixed messages. So it's very important to be parents themselves should be in a certain state of calmer state of mind when they're releasing those words of praising to a child. So your body language, you're more like happier, content when you're releasing these words. So your body language does not contradict your wordings. It's very important. Remember, child brain development capacity is not that wide yet. So any kind of the message has to come very clear. Don't be so. It's far more important to focus on the clarity of the message and the body language part when you're releasing the message, versus then making like that in hymn's attitude, lyricism. It's far more important. The clarity, it's important, and the body language very much important when you praising your child. Like giving the handshake, showing a smile. Again, it has to be a natural smile, because the kids are very censoring the feelings very well. So it has to be inner happiness, certainly. Handshake, honest, listen to the child. Like the body language has to be like very comparable to your words of praising. It's very important to know also that as more you are natural with your kids, as more your words sinking in the child's soul. As more you're natural with your words, as more the words sinking in the subconscious and conscious from the child. As more you're natural with your words, as more the child wants to hear, and wants to hear your words and accepting actually your words. The honest words it's always acceptable and will always break in the heart of any kind of human. So, as we know, some people can say very charismatic speech, but if they're performing under speech, it will be nice to hear at the moment. You'll be able to hold on to a big crowd. However, the words won't stick in the people's hearts. What makes message to break the hearts of people and just stay there, it's as more you mean it, as more you're honest with your message. So the same with the raising the kids. When you're releasing your praises, it has to be very natural. Very natural. Use natural words. Simple. As more you use that charismatic words, it sounds good, but it sounds more as a lie than as real. Performance locally will ignite the child's mood, maybe, but won't carry out for longer time. So it's very important to know that to be natural with the child. Use the very natural phrases to praise the child, not something, not like poems of Shakespeare or whatever, those fancy words, fancy lines, fancy poetic language. Right? I'll give an example as a Shamsun. Any kind of performance won't make people believe that you mean their benefits. That's the rule. So therefore, it's very important in marriage life and Chinuch life, performance, being or performing or comedian, joking and not mean what you say, not being natural, won't bring any kind of result. Yet it can at the moment can ignite, it can bring certain good feelings, just but being saying jokes or whatever, anything other stuff, but it won't lead the child, it won't make child to believe, it won't convince child to accept what you say, what you hold about him. It's more practical point of view. Like to use more natural words will provide us with the results. Like to say to the child, "Oh, that's so nice. That's very good. Thank you very much. It's so nice to see. You made me very happy." This kind of word, that's the key words, very natural key words. No, any intelligent person has those words. Of course, a person who can't release those words from his mouth, he needs himself an education. But these words are every intelligent person using these words in daily basis. So those words we copy paste and use to a child. Meaning to say, when child, let's say, took a shower, came out of a shower, it just acknowledged that, "Oh, very good, it's nice. I like what I see." It just simple words, but has a major effect. Of natural words, but has a major impact on child. Child believes that you really appreciate, you acknowledge his needs. To use like words, let's say, I'm deeply inspired by your behavior. That's false. Or to say the way how you made bruches shows me the taharas and the shuma, that you have such a higher neshama. That's false. That false should not be used. Number one, it's irregular language. People don't use this kind of language in their lives. And second is it's very performing. Again, the children need to be raised very natural. There is a human being, and then there is a religion, and there's Yiddishkeit. So when you start to express that excessively, you're excessively praising the child, it sounds very false. You can sometimes feel like a body on your, you can physically feel the lie of this message. But even though, let's say, something you mean by it, but it still can be a daily basis. As we discussed previous shiurim, that you have to reoccur your actions, to reoccur this statement. I'm deeply touched by your behavior, or your bruchas shows me that you have your neshama so high. You can reoccur these statements constantly. First, I feel like modern shtickle. That's not like interesting. Second, it's not the language. It's not the regular. It's not natural language that you express yourself to others. So therefore, it's very important to be very natural. Side note: it's important to be natural in all the areas. So just say what you're saying regularly. Just say naturally, and it will be more results. There is someone asked a question yesterday. It's saying as the question is, he's saying that his child, as I said before, he woke up in the morning. He was very independently woke up in the morning. He overcame his challenge of sleeping. He prepared his food. So, but it is at the time that the parent wants to appreciate the child's deeds, child's actions and behaviors. There's like 10 things that he wants to appreciate. So where does it start? So that's what the question. The answer is pretty simple. If it's hard, let's say, as we say, right? I mean to say, if a parent finds himself at that moment, that spirit, that that natural spirit is calm, a certain serenity, he is happier, content, and he has that ability, emotional ability to praise the child naturally. So just do everything. But if, let's say, the parent at that time is not completely calm, and he can afford just one praise, two praise, just do it. But again, to perform and praise, that has zero value. There's no relationship can be developed on performance in any area. That means, but in husband to wife, parents and kids, roof and the friendship can be developed. You can create relationship on performance. It just does. The words just naturally does not go in the heart of the listener. So as more you have that mental space, emotional space to acknowledge the behavior of the child, do it. If you feel you can't do it because emotionally you're not balanced at the moment, so just don't say anything. Say it next time. Say it in the evening, afternoon, or whatever. But just to say, it's not about just saying. You have to use the words. Needs to have emotional meanings to it. The words have to have that emotional energy. Has to contain that emotional spice in it, so it breaks in the heart of the child, goes deep in the heart of the child, and provides the child with that koyach and power to be consistent and vitally responsible and produce positive deeds and behaviors, right? So that's basically what we discussed today. Very important concepts. How to not too much of praising, not too little, but too much has a way bigger negative effect, because your words has getting to a point has no value. It has to be very fine balance of praising the child, not excessively praising, very balanced, giving a very fine balance of praising. And remember, the body language has to be in tune with your words, and the words have to have that emotional meanings to it. Now, if you can't say it because something bugging you, because something bothering you, you're not calm, don't just don't say anything. Say it later. If you feel that you have that emotional space to be honest, say it as more as you can. If you can't say everything, say it everything. If you just come at the time, you can acknowledge everything, do it. But it has to be very honest, very natural way how to release those words. And Bez Hashem, we'll continue tomorrow, Bez Hashem, and our shiur. Kol tov, atzlucha rabba to everyone.